Hey guys, True Knight back here. So tonight I wanted to do a discussion about Swordsoul. Before I start getting into this profile with Denlong and all. Um, so listening to a great video by Kamon, that came out earlier today. He actually had the exact same idea that I wanted to go over tonight. About Swordsoul in general, right now. In the meta, right? So Swordsoul is kind of sitting in a weird place. It's either gonna be amazing, like French bread, or it's gonna suffer again. But I want to be very crystal clear with you guys. Right now, at the beginning of the meta, like this deck's not solved yet. This deck's not perfected. Sorry, I just got done working out, so I'm pretty exhausted. This deck's not at all like the answer. The code hasn't been cracked, however you want to put it, right? There's still many questions to answer. There's many plot holes to fill, however you want to put it. Excuse me. What I want to make crystal clear to you guys too is that right now there is no right or wrong answer to how you want to choose to build this deck. Meaning, if you want to go with the Apple Dragon build, if you want to go just pure, if you want to try out Denlong, like, there's nothing wrong with any of them. I expressed myself a couple videos back that I prefer the standard build to either one of these right now. But that's me. That's my own thought process on it, which I made, I thought, crystal clear in the video, like, hey, this is just my input. And I don't agree with people who are coming out into comment sections or in videos or anything like that and saying like, oh no, this is just horrible, this is just wrong, like, we don't know results yet. We don't know what's winning, what's not, especially with this new format, man. Like, this is the first weekend potentially of the new format with LGSs that are deciding to run new lists, which doesn't even go into effect until Monday. So I just kind of want to piggyback like what Kamon was saying, like, feel free to run whatever build you want. Like, Swordsoul hasn't been solved, the meta hasn't been solved by any means, and it'll take, like it does, a couple weeks to a month to figure it out and get comfortable with it. So don't sit here and think the end all be all is already answered, because it's just not. There's no data, there's no structure to go off of yet to know what's working and what's not. I get other people's opinions and they're great. Some of them I may share, some of them I may disagree with. Like, to me, in my opinion, if I'm gonna run the Denglong build, I guess, spoiler alert, I'm not using any of the Yang Zings in my build. I just refuse to put bricks right now in an already tight deck that can't afford it, you know? But others may say, well, True Knight, this is not a brick. This is an amazing card. This helps out Swordsoul. Cool, show it to me. I'm never gonna sit there and just say like, oh, no, you're wrong. I don't know. Until I start seeing matches and seeing what works. For all I know, this is the most powerful deck now. Like, yes, I know Master Duel has had Denlong and I know it hasn't done much, but someone may come in with a TCG and just start wreaking havoc, you know, and start winning tournament after tournament. We don't know. We just don't know yet. And like, as far as like things that I saw too, like when Kamon was only choosing to run like 5 or 6 hand traps in his Swordsoul build, and I see people giving him a hard time and criticizing him for that. Like, the dude still won tournaments with it. He still is winning with that. So you sitting there and taking a shit on him, apologies if there's kids watching, but you sitting there taking a shit on him in his opinion of his deck that just took first place, well, now how does that make you look? You know? So consider that. Be open. Like, here's a reality fact that I'm gonna lay on y'all right now. Yu-Gi-Oh is becoming more and more like Magic the Gathering. in my opinion. Yes, there are archetypes. There are cards specifically that flow well within archetype, but they are making more and more general support that generically just helps decks. And if you guys look at Magic, yes, there are humans, there are angels, there are beasts, there are, you know, clerics, like however they have it, but there's generic support that helps each one of those decks. And Yu-Gi-Oh is doing the same thing. Yu-Gi-Oh is slowly transitioning into this, cool, we'll give you guys 4 or 5, maybe even 6 cards that are just specifically working on that archetype altogether. But we have all this generic support that comes out and helps. Like, this is not a Swordsoul card. Apple Dragon is not a Swordsoul card, but it helps pop off. It helps you combo more if you choose to go this route. Denglong is not a Swordsoul card, but it's a worm, it's a tuner, it searches, it does something when it dies. It, you know, like, you guys, you have to be more open to that and see that. Like, that's what Yu-Gi-Oh is challenging the player base to do right now, is to open your way of thinking. Just because it doesn't say worm doesn't mean it doesn't work with worm deck, you know? Like, look at Bestials. When we were in the last tier limit format, shoot, man, I played 9 Bestials in my Swordsoul deck. The highest I've taken this, like, I don't know, past year was 5th place in a 41-man tournament, and I had 9 Bestials in that deck. They weren't worms, they weren't Swordsoul cards. They might as well have been, because they just generically flowed with the deck. So I know I may be preaching to the choir to some of you guys who are already open-minded and accept change and, you know, see that the game's evolving that way, but to those of you who are not, like, wake up, you know, like, this is what the game's doing. Like it or love it, that's what the game's deciding to do, because they have to. They can't just continuously pump out Swordsoul cards, so they have to give a little love where they can, you know? Like, shoot, the last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh competitively was Satellar Knight. Was the format where Satellar Knight beat Necros in the World Championship. That was my last year of competitive play. I topped the regionals, I had live events happen, and I had to step away from the game. But now here we are in 2023, and Satellar Knight just got support. But yet it's also Constellar. It's not just Satellar. So, like, that's what the game is trying to do, and they have to, because they can't just continuously say, oh, we're just going to continue to make Swordsoul cards. No, we have to help out everything. This Apple Dragon is going to go into other decks, and it's going to be lit. It's going to go crazy. It's going to be amazing. That doesn't mean it doesn't also help out Swordsoul just as much. Denglong is going to go into a deck, and somebody at your local store might just come in and wipe out a tournament with it. With a completely random deck that you haven't even thought of, you know, and that's just gonna happen because that's what their intention is for the game, is for people to sit down and realize that and have that moment and go, hey, I can put this with this and do this thing, and nobody's prepared for it. That's just what this game's evolving into, and you gotta be open to that. Like, I don't want to pressure you and make you feel like you're a horrible person if you're not, but if you're not, unfortunately, that's the path that this game has decided to take. So I encourage you, sorry, let me reword it, yeah. I encourage you to be more open-minded. I encourage you to light the fires in your brain and let that simmer for a minute, because that's what this game's doing, man, and it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. You may not like it right now, but in a year from now, shoot. For all you know, you can mix 2 of your most favorite engines in Yu-Gi-Oh together because they find a way to bridge them. You know? So that's what I want you guys to be open-minded to, and I want you to guys consider. And if a guy has the balls to come onto a Yu-Gi-Oh channel, or YouTube channel for that matter, apologies, and express the way that they want to build a deck and their thinking, don't take a shit on them. like, especially if he's winning. It's just non-logical, okay? Like, for me, it's kind of silly to see that kind of stuff. Like, you guys come in with your opinionated comments about how they're so wrong and da-da-da-da-da, and then they tell you in their next video, oh, I won this tournament by the way, with this same build. Like, dang, man. Tell them good job. Just because you didn't think of it doesn't mean they're in the wrong. So that's all I'm encouraging this player base to do, is to realize this and see it, because that's where this game's headed. So again, it's just gonna be a whole lot of like it or love it, but that's what the game's evolving into. That's why the ban list is changing so much, is because they see the way that they're going with the printing of their cards and what's coming out, and it's all there in the writing. Like, take a look at all the support, take a look at all the new cards coming out. Like, it's just, it's showing to be much more generic and a mixture of things you can do rather than just one solid idea. So that's my thought process, guys. Again, like I say at the end of every video, be kind, be respectful of each other. And I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Take care.